What you guys saying? Yeah, you good? Yeah, it's me again and that. You know what I mean? With another review for you and that. Today I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be continuing on with Fear the Walking Dead. As you know, from my previous video, I talked about seasons 4 to 6, and as some of you might have known, that on Sunday that just passed was the season premiere of episode 8 of season 6. I don't know if you guys know about the situation of why this happens, because what happened was originally this episode was the mid-finale of Fear the Walking Dead, but what happened is because of the whole situation with the pandemic, what had to happen was that they had to put it on hold, and it aired on Sunday. So that's the reason why there's been a split with the episodes. But the episode's called The Door. Brilliant performance by all the characters. Garrett Dillahunt, Lenny James. I don't know Dakota's real name, to be honest. I need to do my research on that, but that's the real names. But the character names, Garrett, he plays John Dory. Lenny plays Morgan, and there's a character, I don't know the girl's name, but she's called Dakota. That's her character's name, but I don't know her real name. I haven't done any research about that. But so this episode is starring those three characters, and it's mostly focused on John, because this is his chapter today. The Doors is his story, but also Morgan and Dakota are also in it as well. So it's a very heavy dialogue episode, but it's very, very good. Very, very good. A lot of questions were answered from the previous episodes, such as we found out that it was actually just before I get started, first of all, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And another thing for sure, this is going to be a spoiler alert, so there might be some people here that haven't watched it yet. This is going to be a massive spoiler, so if you haven't watched it yet, advised. Obviously, you can still watch my channel. I don't mind doing, obviously, because it's my channel. Obviously, I wouldn't mind you watching it, but I would advise as well that you should watch it first and then get to see my review. But if you haven't watched it and you just don't care, then all my means you can continue watching this. But so literally it's about John, and I think if you guys watched from his story from I think episode 4, he leaves the was it episode 4 or no, it was episode 6, sorry, June's story, when he leaves and he goes his separate way, and June goes her separate way, and then we find out that he's gone back to his old apartment, back to where he used to live, or back to his cabin, or whatever you want to call it, but back to his old place. And he's basically feeling suicidal, like heavily suicidal, and he's thinking about June, because he has his little cubes that he's put, and he says goodbye June, and I think he's that's what gives us an indication that he's thinking to kill himself, and he has a gun towards his chin, pointing upwards, like as if he's going to blow his brains out. But before he does that, there's walkers coming into his department, and he has to shoot them, so he's not giving him a chance to even kill himself, which is good. We don't want him to die, but we all, as the audience, were like, what's going on, John, what's happening? And then obviously there's a part where he's gone back to his he's gone back to the shop. He's gone to the shop to go and collect DVDs or something like that. He sees a herd of walkers, and he kills them. And as he enters the store, he hears something, and then he sees blood on the floor, and he's like, what's going on? And then after, all of a sudden, Dakota appears from nowhere with Morgan's axe. So then we knew already straight away that she's with Morgan, and then obviously we wanted to know what's happened with Morgan. And obviously she opens the door, and Morgan's injured, you know what I mean? And obviously he's on the floor, and he's injured or wounded, he's on the floor, and he's surprised to see John, and John's surprised to see him. And then they obviously not congratulate, but they they just basically have that kind of talk of, oh wow, like you know, it's been a long time, John. It's been a long time, Morgan. You know, that kind of talk. You know what I mean? And obviously, they talk about what happened with Alicia and Charlie, because obviously the episode 7 ended with, you know, Alicia, Charlie, Dakota and Morgan going one way. So then apparently they said that they hit a herd and they both split up and went their separate ways. So Charlie and Alicia have gone one way and Morgan and Dakota have gone another way. So then they come together, and then obviously he's trying to get more information about what happened to John, and obviously Morgan's asking him more questions like what happened to June, where's June, and etc. He said, doesn't want to talk about it. He said, what's going on? And obviously, like, you know, he saw that now John's in a dark place. I'm not gonna go too into this because it's not that fact that it's just that, you know, I don't want, you know, there's some details I might miss out, and I just don't really want to get into the proper nitty gritty. I want to just like talk about, you know, the main points of what happened, you know, the fundamental points. And then later on, there's a part where, you know, within the same part, Dakota sees a blood on a little, I think it was a blade or something she saw with blood on it, and she was like, what's this? And he's like, that's nothing to do, that's just an investigation, etc. He was from episode 4, his investigation. And then obviously she's asking him a lot of questions. Dakota at this point is acting really weird, really weird. She was you know, she was really becoming very stone-hearted, saying that, you know, that you shouldn't really care about anybody. And John, you know, because obviously Janice died and he was upset about Janice. John was upset about Janice. And then I think I briefly talked about this on my last video. John was upset about Janice because obviously they killed her. Virginia killed her. And then, you know, Dakota was acting really weird, saying, you know, it doesn't matter, you know what I mean, like, people don't matter anyway. And it's like, well, if people don't matter, John was like, well, if people don't matter, then if it don't matter when you're dead, then why does it matter when you're alive? Do you know what I mean? So kind of stuff like that. And he was like saying that, you know, they were asking, obviously Morgan was inviting him to go with them because obviously he said, we need somebody who can cook. And obviously, that part he cooked them fish. He was asking him, listen, I need somebody who can help us, you know, who can help us cook, and he can be an addition to the group, you know, be a part of our family. And he's like, he doesn't want to go. He'll take them there, but he's gonna take them out of the herd, you know what I mean, of where the zombies are. But in that, apart from that, he's gonna go back to his place, and he's like, he knows already if he goes back to his place, he's gonna end up killing himself. So just to cut a long story short, what happens is that they get through the herd. John helps them through the herd. Morgan now has one hand here, so he's obviously, because he's been wounded. And then the car gets stuck because there's a zombie that's stuck on the wheel. So then John jumps forward and basically picks up the petrol. While he's doing that, he gets also bombarded by other walkers. So then after, because once he fixed he connected the I think, I don't know what it is, but part of the car, I don't know what it is, but he just basically fixed the car. It moved the car, and then the car carried on going. And he carried on moving, and then Dakota moved the car so fast, you know what I mean, that's the point that, you know, they went through the bridge, and it hit the I don't know what they call it, the rooftop of the building and the bridge, and then that just came off. And then obviously, like, it could have, you know, if she went in a bit more harder, John could have slipped off and jumped and fell into the water. But then this is where the interesting part happens, you know what I mean, because what happens is obviously now they're having a little conversation, and obviously, before that happens, Morgan contacts Virginia and tells, there's another part. Yes, sorry, I forgot even another crucial part. There's another crucial, before we even get there was a part where the radio oh, for fuck's sake, I'm losing the words. Yeah, the radio was on, and then obviously you can hear Virginia saying, you know, calling them, and then obviously they were told, John's like, don't pick up. Then Grace picks up the radio, and then obviously Morgan had to answer. Then we see Grace, and obviously she's been held at gunpoint, you know what I mean? And then we find out that all the others have been put hostage as well. All the other people, all the other members, you know what I mean, have been put in hostage. You know, we saw Daniel there, we saw Luciana, we saw Wes, we saw June, we saw who else was there? I believe Sarah, and somebody else was there as well. Who else was there as well that was with them? That's the ones that I remember that I saw, but the others I don't remember. I think there was someone else that I don't remember who else I saw. But then the weird thing was that it was Victor was the one who shut on the gates, the door gates of. He was the one who was basically shutting the gates, you know what I mean, basically locking them in. I'm thinking, but aren't you one of them? I don't understand, like, what's going on with Strand? Is he now fully just betrayed the whole team and it's like, nah, I'm not with it? That's a bit weird, but I don't know. But apart from that, yeah, that's what we see. And then obviously he's basically telling Virginia, listen, well, this is Morgan, he tells Virginia, listen, he gives away the location of where John lives so that John has no choice but to go with him. He doesn't want him to go back to his house, because as soon as he goes back, he's gonna end up he's gonna end up killing himself, and he doesn't want to see that. He's like, you know, you gave me a purpose to live. Why the hell do you know what I mean? Am I gonna leave you to, you know what I mean, to die and all that? You know what I mean? Because obviously it's a long story. Because obviously there was a time where I think from season 4, a lot of the references is referencing from season 4, where when he wanted to go his own route, and it was John who basically introduced him and brought him into his life, and then they met more people, and now he's trying to do the exact same back to John. And John's just not having it. He's like, no, I don't want to go. And he was upset and angry, etc. Yeah, but then what happens is that that was before, but and I'm just gonna cut straight into the real important part, the real bombshell, where we see Dakota stabs Walker in the head. And well, she gets, what happens is she's having a conversation with John, and then she's like, oh, you know, I need you, John, etc, etc, blah blah blah. And all of a sudden she slips over because there's a walker, you know what I mean, that's still alive, grabs the leg, she drops on the floor, and as soon as she drops on the floor, she takes the knife, and then she's basically about to like stab, well, she stabs the walker in the head. And then obviously once she stabs the walker in the head, John looks at her, and obviously he looks at, she's sort of covering up the knife, and then John's like, what's that, and then he sees that the knife's there. He's like, what? Then he pulls out the knife. He said, yeah, that's Cameron, that's the knife that was used to kill Cameron. And then he finds out that it was Dakota who was the one who killed Cameron, and then obviously blamed it on Janice, and then Janice was the one who got killed, you know what I mean, when it was actually Dakota. I mean, and obviously Virginia was covering up for her sister Dakota. And obviously this was just all crazy, do you know what I mean? And obviously like John was like, what? I mean, why'd you have me investigate all this, you know, if you know you were the killer, do you know what I mean? What's going on? And all of a sudden like Dakota just pulls a gun to John out of the blue, and she's like, you know, no, I can't have you, you know, you can't tell anybody. So I'm not gonna tell nobody, don't worry, listen, it's all, a secret's gonna stay with me, don't worry about it, we can fix this, you know, Morgan says I've got a purpose, my purpose is probably to help you, etc. And she just was like, no, I don't trust you, you know what I mean, so you're lying. I'm like, what? And all of a sudden I was thinking that, you know, she would give in and be like, you know what, yeah, I'll give him a chance. But shockingly, she shoots him. I'm like, what? All of us would like, I remember that moment, I was like, and then John, and then just to make it worse, he's bleeding out, and she just pushes him into the water, or river, whatever you want to call it. He falls in the water, and he finds a way out. He sees the sunlight, and he finds his way out. And he comes out, and then as he's trying to, like, you know, escape, she's looking to kill him again. But the lucky for Morgan comes in, and Morgan's like, what's going on? Where's John? And she's like, she's pulling a gun to Morgan, and Morgan's like, what the heck's going on? Where's John? What have you done to John? He's like, you know, she shot him. I mean, he's got a wound, a bullet to him. And I was like, and then he grabbed the gun and he put the axe towards her neck. And she's like, you're not gonna do it. And he's like, I wouldn't be so sure about that. I'm remembering the words in that. And she's like, oh, you wouldn't do it because I was the one who saved you. And then we find that it was Dakota who was the one who saved Morgan from season 5. You know, the season finale of season 5, when he gets shot by Virginia and left there to die. It was actually Dakota who saved him. Apparently, because a lot of people, or even myself, I think that Dakota's lying. We don't know. I don't think she's telling the truth. You know, she's basically just making up this lie all up. And Morgan's like, you're lying. Like, I was the one who helped you, etc. Blah 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 blah. I helped you because, you know what I mean, you're the only person who can kill my sister. I'm just like, what? I mean, what kind of relationships do you guys have? Your sisters, your Virginia. It's like you saved him because you want him to kill your sister. I'm like, and she basically killed Cameron because Cameron basically knew her hideout of, you know, for her to escape the area or the place, whatever it's called. And John was like, was that it? You killed him because of that? A lot of Dakota's reasoning or excuses, it doesn't make any sense to her actions, because it's like, I don't understand why she killed John, because it's like he didn't do anything to you. It just doesn't make any sense that she's done that because now she's like, oh, she wants to live with Morgan. She said to him, I want to live in your place that you've built. But it's like, why is he gonna put you there when he knows that you've killed John, and now you've lied that so-called lied that you saved his life? I just don't understand the logic behind it. I don't really understand where's it all coming from. But then it's like I was thinking, there was a moment of hope there where Virginia and June, surprisingly June, she brought June out. They go to John's whereabouts, and then all of a sudden, Morgan radios them in and says, you know what, John has been injured. He's in the river heading your way. And obviously, like, they all be discussing things and trying to, fight, discussing blah blah blah, chatting so much rubbish, wasting so much time. And June was just not having it. It's like, we need to go and save John. I mean, we're wasting so much time. So she grabs that radio. She signals them to find out where John is. Then later on, she finds out that John, she sees John. She runs out with the bag, and then goes towards John. And then obviously, like, you see John's just slowly crawling. And then obviously, this could be one or two things. John could either be alive or dead. And then we're just hoping that he's not a zombie. The next minute, my man puts his head up and he's a zombie. And I was like, no, this cannot be happening. And then all of a sudden, like, June was so shocked. And then, she had no choice but to kill John, stab him in the head. I was like, John just went like that. I personally just couldn't believe what I saw. Like, it was a good story, but it was a massive, stab to the heart. I mean, it literally felt like that. It was like just the first season, we're coming back, not first season, but like, the continuation of season 6, so episode 8. We're starting off episode 8 like this. Like just like this. Like, it's crazy, and I'm just like, yo, I was not expecting that. That was a massive, like, blow. Like, it was like, whoa, like, it was crazy. And at the same time, it's like, there was just so many questions and so many so much questions, especially with Dakota's motive. Where did they go now? What happens now that John's not in the story now? Like, what's gonna happen? Because it's really confusing. Another thing as well that I spotted and that I found a little bit strange was just at the ending with June. I just didn't understand, because, like, think of it, like, as a character, that's your husband. Your husband has just is dead. You know what I mean? There was no emotion. Like, it was just sort of just, she kind of went forward, and then she just sort of she was upset, you can see that, but she wasn't like crying or really, really emotional. I'm like, I would think that in an apocalypse, or in a universe like that, where all you have is each other, that you would feel so, you'll feel so attached to somebody, because John wasn't just nobody, he was a husband. You know what I mean? Like, your husband, he's dead. You wouldn't just react like that. You would be really, really, really upset. You'll be crying. You'll find it even difficult to even kill him. I just found it so strange how she was just kind of cold. You know what I mean? Like, she was just like, there wasn't much emotion. She just went straight into killing him straight away. It's like, it's weird. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I just feel like, especially that the fact that she's been away from him for so long, you would feel even more attached, and then to see him like that, you would be really upset. You wouldn't react that way. So I don't really know the choice that they've made there, as I don't know, the director's choice there with the character. I wasn't feeling that. I don't think that was the correct emotion. I mean, I think that was because when you look at Walking Dead, when we saw Daryl, and when he found Merle dead, his brother dead, and we saw Rick and he saw his son dead, it was a different emotion. You know what I mean? They were really crying. They were really, like, you know what I mean? It took them a while before they can even kill their sibling, or, you know what I mean, or their loved one. And that's why we love it so much, because of the love behind it. And I just felt like it should have been the same here. Like, there should be more emotion there. It was just a bit weird to me how she would react like that. She would just be so kind of stern. She wasn't really, there was no really much reaction, you know what I mean? It was a bit weird, but apart from that, you know, it was a good story. I don't know what's gonna happen going forward. I don't know what's gonna happen between the relationship. I have no idea, but obviously this was a smart move, because obviously a lot of us are going to be interested to know what's going to happen in episode 9. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my reaction review. Obviously, you know, probably I haven't spoiled it for you guys. I'm hoping that majority of you have already watched it already, but I was just a bit shocked and a bit upset. Like, I was a bit upset because I just felt like, you know, John was such a great character, you know. I just felt like he just left so soon, and we didn't get much of him. Like, we just didn't. And I just feel like, yo, like, there was so much more to him, and it's just upsetting that, you know, we just, you know, he just went out like that, you know what I mean? And he's just kind of senseless. Like, I can understand if it was, you know, he got bit or something, but it was just senseless. It didn't make any sense why he left, and that's what annoys me more, and I think that's what annoys a lot of fans more. Yeah, but apart from that, yeah, so far so good. Guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your views or what you thought about the episode. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys soon. Take care of yourselves, guys.